This week's species has very keen eyesight, it's fun to catch, plus makes a delicious meal.
That's right, Rick. It's time to drop the anchors, grab your chum blocks and oats, and let your lines out because we're catching a yellowtail on the Florida Insider Fishing Report, which starts now.
Welcome to the Florida Insider Fishing Report, presented by Yamaha.
Welcome back to the Florida Insider Fishing Report. You know, Rick, we're just about to be wrapping up summertime. I can't believe I'm saying that. But before we do, we just got to get into some yellowtail, don't you think?
You're absolutely right. You know, Brie, when I think about yellowtail, I think about capers, I think about francais, I think about fried, I think about all the different ways to actually eat it. Teach you a trick, guys. Let your fillets age for a day or two in your cold refrigerator. They won't curl up. That gets rid of all the adrenaline when you age it, and it's gonna taste that much better.
There you go. That's a good foodie tip right there. All right, we have the best of the best with us today, including our friend from Florida Coast Equipment, Discover Crystal River Northwest Region Captain Jeff Hageman, plus a yellowtail specialist, Captain Randy Tao, joining Jeff, who's Jeff? Dave at the CCA workbench. We have so many people here today.
Jeffrey!
Hi, Jeffrey.
I got the king of the backups here. You know, we're gonna work Murphy over after the show's over.
Hopefully you'll be in the right place.
You like that? Get some fisticuffs.
That sounds like I'm buying dinner.
But you're buying dinner, Dave's asking questions, it's all good. All right, the Casa Vieja Lodge Southeast region is a perfect place to drop the old chum bag in. So Captain Jimbo Thomas, let's get our weekend report.
You got it. Hello, everybody. You know, when I think about yellowtail, I think about chum and stuff all over the boat. That means for a lot of cleaning up when I get in. But when we do have quite a few yellowtail here in the southeast region, and typically the further south you get, the better the reef gets, and this is also a great time to target them, especially in the evenings, and that's when they generally bite the best. Now, the shallow reefs and patches, they do hold lots of yellowtails, but most of these are going to be on the small side. So you want to try and keep to the deeper water where those fish are going to be a little bigger. They can average anywhere from a pound up to flags of 4 or more pounds. You want to look for hard bottom in the 40 to 80 foot range and watch your depth machine for any signs of life, and then anchor up and start chumming. Now, if you want to get really serious, you can mix some sand and oats with the chum and make some really tasty chum balls. And also you could add some glass minnows and silver sides into the mix to sweeten it up. Now, the more chum, the better. Yellowtail is all about chumming, and that's why I said the boat's going to be a mess. Now, I like to use light pin spin outfits with 12 to 15 pound tests. You want to use a small hook, a 2-0 to 3-0 hook, and tie it straight to the main line. And if you're using a high-vis line, a light fluoro or clear mono leader will also work. For baits, bonita, squid, or ballyhoo, you can cut them into small strips, drift them back in the chum. That's what typically works best. And if those fish are staying deep, you can roll your bait into one of those really tasty chum balls, and the weight of that sand will sink the bait. Or you can get a small jig and bait it with one of those pieces of bait, drift it back into the chum, and that's a great way to get them if they're a little boat shy and staying down deep or staying back behind the boat. And it might take some time, but occasionally those yellowtails will get chummed up right behind the boat, up on the surface. You can cherry pick your fish. Got a photo here. This is Craig Fountain with a nice yellowtail. I don't know where he caught that one, but it's a borderline flag, I'd say.
That's right. Looks good.
And then the dolphin fishing in the past week has been good if you get lucky and find the right piece of debris. Now, the bulk of the stuff that's been floating has been roughly 6 to 12 miles offshore, but ultimately you can find something from the edge on out. So just keep your eyes. Once you get out 100 foot, start looking. And there have been birds working over some of those fish, but they have been on the floaters more than anything. The fish are eating trolled baits and lures. Once they're located, you can pitch live and cut baits to them. And most of them, the dolphin, they've been decent schoolies in the 4 to 8 pound range, and you never know when a larger one might come into the mix there. Got another photo here This is Captain Nelson aboard the billing office. He found a big piece of rope floating off Key Biscayne, ended up with this nice dolphin catch. So you just got to get lucky, cover the ground.
You got it.
Now moving inshore, snook season opened last Sunday, and the fishing has been good off the oceanside beaches and also in the inlets throughout the whole region. Off the beaches, the snook, they've been cruising the troughs that run parallel to the beaches early in the mornings. And when the weather's calm, looks like it might be this weekend, these snook, they can be sight fished with live baits, surface and swimming lures, and even fly tackle. In any areas that have bait activity, that's going to be the most productive. In the inlets, you want to get out there early in the morning and then late into the afternoon and into the evenings. Best on the outgoing tide, you want to fish with live pinfish, herring, or croakers. Fish them along the bottom and along the jetties. And if you don't have any live bait, you can try bouncing 1 to 2 ounce jigs or soft plastics along the bottom, or even trolling deep diving lures. Got another photo here, and this is myself with an overslot Biscayne Bay snook. I'm trying to catch a slot one since it opened. Hasn't worked yet, though. I'll take a big one, though.
Okay.
And it looks like the weather's going to be perfect for permit fishing this weekend. We're going to have calm seas, clear water, and good visibility. At least that's what the forecast says, and that's what the permit like. The permit fishing has been good around the Ragged Keys and then into the Caesars Creek and Angelfish Creek areas. And the fish have been anywhere from 7 to 15 pounds. You want to look for hard bottom flats that have a lot of life on it, like hard corals and stuff like that. If you see crabs in the area, that's also a good sign. And also you look for those flats with some good tidal flow and fish with silver dollar size crabs or crab pattern flies.
Thank you so much, Jimbo, for getting us started tonight. We're going to take a look at the Black Oak LED hotspots. Jimbo says look for the snook in all of the inlets and off the beaches in the evening and early morning. They are eating live and artificial baits. And then if you guys want to go offshore, get in on the evening yellowtail bite in 60 to 90 feet of water. Plenty of chum is the key to your success, guys.
Chum in a dirty boat.
Yeah.
Jimbo doesn't like that.
You know, Randy used to say, chum and they will come.
Chum and they will come. I'm sure he will say it again. All right, well, it's hard to think about the Takeuchi Keys region and not think about yellowtailing to go with it. So let's find out the best way to catch some dinner with Captain Rich Murphy.
You know, yellowtails are a fun way to get out on the water and catch a bunch of fish for a fish fry. Here in the Alt Equipment region, we get yellowtails all up and down from Key Largo to Key West. The number one thing you're going to want to need when it comes to chasing yellowtails is current. Having good current allows you to anchor a spot lock and have a consistent chum slate. You're going to want to put a block of chum out and have a bucket of defrosted block of chum mixed with oats and sand and menhaden oil, and you're going to go throw little scoops at a time. This will get the yellowtails fired up behind the boat where they're going to let their guards down. And you're going to want to free line small baits on light mono line, anywhere from 8 to 20 pound clear mono on yellowtail jigs and small hooks. You can use cut baits like ballyhoo or shrimp or even some squid. And the key is free lining the baits with little resistance, making the bait look like a piece of chum floating naturally in the current with all the rest of the pieces. Watch the speed of the line as it comes off the reel, and one of two things will happen. It'll slow down when the fish eats it, or it's going to speed up. You're going to want to have an R&R D-hooker nearby, and remember, guys, it's 12 inches with a pinch tail and 10 per person to your snapper aggregate limit. I spoke to Captain Dustin Miller off the Real McCoy out of Bud and Mary's, and he says that in weeks past, the tuna fishing has been pretty red hot with the mahis mixed in. Look for the tuna birds around the 409 and the west stump before you head offshore. Try to load up on bait, and look on your sounder for the tuna marks, and then chum live pilchards while bumping into the current, free-lining 2 baits hooked in the nose, drifting behind the boat with the rest of the chummers. Use 30 to 40 pound fluorocarbon leader on an Eagle Claw live bait hook in 2.0 or 3.0. When you get the bite, work as fast as you can, using short little pumps to get the fish's head angled up. Try to get him to the boat before the sharks do. I have a photo sent in from Justin Miller off the Real McCoy with a nice mixed bag of tunas and mahis. They got the tunas, and then on their way back in, they ran over a nice floater. Like Jimbo said, if you can find a floater, you're going to get some good mahi fishing. And so he got the mahis on the way in.
Let's go inshore, bub. Mangrove snappers.
I got a great report down from Key West from Chris Trossett and Jared Steer. Chris says that the Gulf fishing out of the lower keys is on fire. Big mangrove snappers on the deep ledges and structure. Chris is using a combination of standard block chum and live pilchards. Use some heavier tackle, 20-pound braided line or mono with a 30-pound fluorocarbon leader. And these fish are ranging from 5 to 13 pounds. Have a big spinner ready with a live crab because there's been some permits hanging out. We got a structure. I got 2 photos sent in by Chris Trossett off the Real Fly Charters. One of a big mangrove snapper in the Gulf with Ken and Ben.
Wow.
And the other one is a photo of a nice permit that was caught on a Carnage 3 rod and a Penn skimmer loaded with Berkeley braided line.
Nice.
Also, down in the lower Keys, Captain Jared Steer says that they're seeing quite a few bonefish around. Look for the fish waking up on the tops of the flats, rumbling around and tailing. Pull into the current as the fish will be swimming into it. Keep an eye out for silver flashes, tails, and muds, and stop the boat short of the fish. Throw live shrimp, rigged weedless, with 1 or 2 small split shots to help you throw it on a 7-foot Fenwick, 7'6" Fenwick medium light fast rod. Make sure to lead them quite a bit and watch your bait rather than the fish. And once the fish gets into the same frame as the bait, bump it slow and the fish will pile on it. You can also throw flies to these fish for a little bit of a softer presentation if you like.
All right, Ridge, thank you so much. Get that big boat home, get it all cleaned up. We got to go tomorrow, bud, but we'll see you. And I'm going to go and take a look at the hot spots from the Florida Keys region. Bridge says, guys, bonefish, the rumbling up on the top of the flats. Pull with the current and look for the mudders and the tailors. Stop the boat short and then throw a big lead and wait for the fish to find your shrimp. And then offshore, blackfin tunas on the humps. Chum with live pilchards, getting the fish to come up in the water column and free line live baits back as you bump into the current. Work fast with short little pumps because of the sharks.
Sharks. All right, well, now it's time to take a look at some tournaments going on in the Florida Keys.
Please.
First up, anglers take to the deep water off Marathon in search of the heaviest swordfish September 27th and 28th during Swordfest, with tournament proceeds funding Warriors on the Water. Next is the Key Largo Rotaries Take Stock in Children Backcountry Challenge, which allows fishing day and night from Friday, October 4th to Sunday the 6th, followed by the presentation of awards for releases of redfish, snook, and trout in adult and junior divisions. Then anglers compete for awards in 3 divisions, artificial fly and bait, for the longest bonefish and permit during the 54th Annual Islamorada Fall All-Tackle Bonefish and Permit Championship. And finally, participants in the Marathon Offshore Swordfish Tournament choose 2 out of 3 fishing days, October 18th, 19th, and 20th, to reel in the largest swordfish by weight, with cash prizes for first and second place. For more information on Keys tournaments, go to flakeys.com. But we're all in for a treat for the Fish Bites Trading Post rigs and techniques at the CCA workbench coming up next, because not only do we get Dave, but we get our former OG captain, Randy Tao.
One of my favorite humans is here to tell us how to catch yellowtail snapper. And I've only caught yellowtail snapper with Randy, so.
Well, there you have it.
He's the man.
There you have it.
I've done it before.
Correct.
We have.
Okay.
And then we'll
share that.
What the Fish Bites East region is bringing to the surface with Captain Mike Holliday. We'll be right back.
The Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Fenwick. Feel everything. Sirius XM Marine. Weather. Fish mapping. Entertainment. Penn. Let the battle begin. Casa Vieja Lodge. 5-star angling in beautiful Guatemala. Berkeley Prospect Chrome. Fish Bites Trading Post. The first choice of First Coast anglers. Castaway Coffee. One taste and you'll be hooked. And Daiquiri Deck. Food, drinks, friends.
Well, we're here at the Fish Bites Tackle Shop talking about new products. No, we're not even talking about new products. We're doing rigs and techniques.
We're talking about yellowtail.
We're too much talking over here.
But I have caught yellowtails on Fish Bites. Just
there
so
you
know.
go. That's perfect. Well, Randy, because it's summertime, it is the best time to go fishing for them. You said, is this your favorite time to go fishing for them?
Summer months are great when it's hot. Yellowtailing for big ones, it's when you want to go do it. In the Keys, it's all about chumming. Like Jimbo was saying, chum's important, and a lot of guys are using a 25-pound block of chum to get started. Mm-hmm. So the chumming process is important, and the oats. We use horse oats that we put in the water to enhance the yellowtails to get closer.
Right.
Because nowadays, the real challenge is getting those yellowtails close enough that when you hook one, it doesn't get eaten.
Right.
By a barracuda or a bull shark or something like that, or kingfish. this time of year, summer months, we get kingfish that show up on the reef eating the yellowtails.
Well, we were talking you were talking about not to use sand.
So anytime you put sand in your chum, you're sinking your chum. You
Right.
want to bring the fish up from the bottom.
They're already down there.
Yeah, you don't want to get down to them because you're not going to be able to catch them because of the predators. You want to get those yellowtails up near the surface. So that's what you're really trying to do, is keep everything as close to the boat as you can. And as long as you have moving water, that's one of the key ingredients. If your wind and current are going the same way, it's ideal because everything's behind the boat. If your current's going up the anchor rope, for example, it's kind of hard because everything's going up in front of the boat. Not a very good condition to yellowtail.
Well, how do you determine what's a good current?
Well, you'll know when you start chumming.
Right.
If your chum's going the wrong way, this might not work.
Right.
But if you do have that current and the wind, you always look at your wind. Is it an east wind, southeast wind, what have you? So that's going to be a factor right there, because that's going to dictate some of the direction. Even if you don't have current, your chum is just going to sink, which that does work, but it's a slow process to get them going.
So when you throw your chum out, those oats especially, how long before they go away? I mean, if you're in a heavy current and you throw those the oats out, they go swooshing away. They're not doing you much good.
Well, they are, because when you have current, they stay higher longer,
Okay.
right? So that ball of oats that you threw in the water, what happens when the yellowtails get in that ball, it turns yellow.
Right.
So that little ball of oats now is bright yellow with all the yellowtails in it, and you can see it from a distance. So it will last longer than, a slower current where it's sinking out, but you got to have it moving one way or another. You can have too much current where you can't get down to the yellowtails because the current's so strong. So a moderate current is what you're looking for. Maybe it takes 30 seconds for that oats to disappear behind the boat.
That's what I was looking for.
And then do it again.
Right.
So that's a good condition. But if it's a strong current, it'll stay higher for longer.
Okay. So you not only with the oats, what kind of chum do you put out?
I don't do anything else. I use a block of chum in the chum bag, a big hole chum bag.
Right.
Because you want
large holes.
Large holes. You want the product to go. You want a lot of chum in the water. And then the oats are really what kind of enhance that, because the chum is only the scent. The oats are really the magic to get these things going.
The draw.
I always tell people you can run out of chum, but you can't run out of oats.
Okay, so now you've got them all chummed up behind the boat. What's your process of trying to catch them?
So something like a 7-foot, 10 to 12 pound light action spinning rod. If you want to use a piece of fluorocarbon, you can. Nothing more than about 12-pound test works really well.
So this Pin Battle 5
This is a
here.
perfect
Pin
setup
Battle
right
4,
here.
actually a 3,000 spinning reel.
So this would be ideal. And you want something that isn't stiff, something that is going to bend when you hook them, because you're not fishing heavy line.
The
like
Battle
I said,
2 rod.
12 pound at the most.
Right.
And then these jig heads are awesome. You want to use those in a 1/8 ounce, 3/16 would be your heaviest, a 32nd even. So depending on your current, yellow's my favorite color. I like the chartreuse. I'm not big on the white, but certainly the yellow or red. And then a fresh shrimp or a piece of ballyhoo cut on there. Just bury the hook inside of it so you don't see the hook, and you're good to go.
You told me something before we started about folding the ballyhoo.
So if I'm going to use a ballyhoo, for example, the sides of it, because a lot of times you have to scale to get the scales off to hook it on your hook.
Right.
So the skin of that is silver, it's white, it's bright. I don't like that, so I'll fold it in half and I'll put the skin on the inside so that the meat is on the outside. It's a little bit darker. So most of the yellowtails in the Keys prefer something darker to bite than something white or a piece of skin on the hook.
Yeah.
Bonita's a great bait.
Oh, well, there you go. There went 5 minutes really quickly in the Fish Bite Tackle Shop and Liars Club.
And hopefully
Trading
that
Post.
works out good.
Randy,
Rigs and techniques.
Randy, we loved having you here. What did you say before the beginning of your report every time when you were on the show?
Hello, fish fans.
Oh, hey, fish
Say it.
fans. Fans back together.
All right, here we go.
Just waiting for that one. All right, well, if we're looking for that glow in the Fish Bites East region, we're headed south and most likely in less than 50 feet of water with Captain Mike Holliday. Go for it, Mike.
Yeah, Brie, the best yellowtail snapper action in my region takes place on the southern end around the natural reefs in Palm Beach County, like 55 to 65 feet of water, as well as around the shallow reefs at Peck's Lake. There's always good yellowtailing around the Halsey Wreck up in St. Lucie County. As a rule, yellowtail thrive in that mid-depth reef, like 30 to 90 feet of water, and they're a schooling fish, so where you find one, you'll find more. And as Randy said, the key to targeting is to chum liberally with anything from sand balls to ground chum to glass minnows to juvenile pilchards. For us, we want a north current. We want no current, or a south current is a kiss of death. We want a north current, and you can just feed a piece of ballyhoo squid or small pilchard back into the chum line, little or no weight. You can also do well with that standard 2-hook chicken rig with a piece of squid and a sinker on the bottom. Put a piece of ballyhoo on one hook and a piece of squid on the other, or a piece of fish bite on one and a piece of squid on the other. See which one's getting more bites. Average yellowtail in my region is going to be like 1 to 2 pounds. I got a photo from Captain Charlie Stew with Jupiter. He sent me this shot of a nice yellowtail. They got that fish in 80 feet of water on a chunk of squid. Now, the other thing going, the offshore bite has been sort of this mixed bag of the occasional dolphin, the occasional sailfish, tuna or wahoo, but the most consistent fishing has been for kingfish that are out on the reefs and on the bait schools right now. The bite is moving north. The best action's been up in the Vero Cove, along the offshore bar, on the northern end of the 6 Mile Reef, and also around the bait schools that are in on the beach. It seems like the best action's early morning and late again in the afternoon. There's no lack of bait around, particularly blue runners. They seem to be everywhere. A lot of the kings are on the smaller side in that 8 to 15 pound range. So pilchards, thread fins, even mullet are the top bait, but there are some big fish in the mix. So, a live blue runner or goggle eye are going to be what you're going to get those fish on. I got a photo from Captain Rich Du Bois of Salty Days Charters in Port St. Lucie. They sent me this shot of a big ting, and they got that on the 8 Mile Reef, and that fish ate a live blue runner.
That's a nice fish, bud. All right, give me some inshore love. What you got?
Well, everyone's been surprised by the early start of the fall mullet run, and that's in full swing, looking like the mullet runs of the years past. The opening week of snook season started strong in places like the Juneau Pier, the Jensen Causeway, the South Jetty, and Fort Pierce. Really, all the inlets did really well. There's still a lot of fish on those inlets. There's still a lot of fish on the beaches. And don't overlook the nighttime dock light and bridge fishing. That bite's been really good, and it's a really good way to beat the heat and get in on the action. Right now, anything that looks like a mullet is going to get eaten. Bass Assassin Artemis shad or a sea shad, a topwater plug, swimming mullet or a live mullet. Color really hasn't been much of the issue as size. You want to try and match the size of your lure to the size of the mullet the snook are feeding on, whether that's finger mullet or 10 to 12 inch mullet. Average snook right now, 5 to 20 pounds. I got a photo from Captain James Cronk of Jensen Beach with a nice snook he and his clients got on the 10-cent bridge in Stewart. They got that at night on a live mullet. Now, staying inshore and talking about the mullet run, along with the snook, the tarpon have been taking advantage of the influx of mullet on the beaches, as well as in the inlets and around the bridges at night. If you find the mullet schools, you will find the tarpon. The inlets are on fire at dawn and dusk, and also after dark. On the beach, you just run and gun, moving along until you find the mullet schools, then fish those schools and stay with them as they work their way south. Target the fish with a live or dead mullet, and don't overlook a mullet head on the bottom, particularly in the areas with no current. You'll catch both tarpon and snook that way. You can also throw swimming plugs and big jigs. Really, anything that looks like a mullet right now is going to work. Average tarpon's going to be like 60 to 120 pounds. We're going to see a lot of big fish. And I have a photo of Captain Rufus Wakeman, leader in a tarpon in the Indian River, on a fish that they hooked on a dead mullet.
Nice.
Cool photo.
Hey, afternoon thunderstorms have been cooling off all the lakes. What do you got for your bass report?
Yeah, it's also helped move the current, which is really nice. The Kissimmee Toho chain still in that summer pattern where you get lots of action at dawn, and then the bite kind of slows down as the day heats up. It's school bassier thing. You'll find the fish on the shell beds. You can throw anything from a small topwater prop bait or popper to like a Bass Assassin 5-inch shad or a split tail shad in any of the darker colors. If you're looking for a big fish bite, you can throw frogs. You can crawl at a green pumpkin colored RSB worm through the grass. Any of those dark colored RSB worms are going to work really now on big fish. And the bite will go to like 8:30. Then it's time to float a live shine around the submerged hydrilla out in the open water, or find moving water around the creek mouths. And like I said, with all the rain, places like Shingle Creek, the St. Cloud Canal, and Tiger Creek, they all have fish posted up around the creek mouths, feeding on that, in the cooler water and the moving current. A lipless crankbait or an elite shiner will get the bait. It's a 20 to 30 fish morning, average bass 1 to 3 pounds right now.
Bud, you had a great report. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us on this, and appreciate every week how much hard work you do.
Good seeing you guys.
All right, Bud, we'll see you. Thank you. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at the TH Marine hotspots from the East region. Mike says that the flounder on Jensen Beach Causeway fished the pylons close to the shore with live finger mullet on a jig head. And then offshore, daytime sword bite in 1,600 feet of water off of Palm Beach to Fort Pierce. Whole ladyfish, dolphin belly, and squid are going to work for those dudes.
Those dudes and dudettes. All right, well, folks, this is another reminder about the Shoreline Showdown Surf Fishing Tournament Series presented by Fish Bites. 4 tournaments, 1 championship, and over $75,000 in guaranteed payouts, plus fishing for a chance to qualify to compete for the title of the Ultimate Surf Angler. We are 2 down with 2 more to go, so for more information, scan that QR code or visit shorelineshowdown.com. But coming up, we're letting our lines out in the Auto Equipment Southwest region and chatting with a special guest from Florida Coast Equipment. And then our Discover Crystal River Northwest region, Captain Jeff Hageman, is reporting live in the studio. So stay hooked and we'll be right back.
The Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Power Pole, Total Boat Control, Berkeley, Your Fish, Our Science, Bahio, blue light blocking, radically clear polarized fishing sunglasses, Scoozy Shoes, the captain's choice for premium lightweight comfort, Sea Sucker, easy on, easy off, incredibly strong, Penn, let the battle begin, Kubota, together we do more, and the International Order of T. Roosevelt, protect your right to fish.
Well, guys, as you can see, joining me is Todd Bachman from Florida Coast Equipment. You know, Todd, my son Colin, right out of college, he came to work for you, and he took some time down at the Homestead store, and he's doing quite well for the company. He was one of your big sales guys, and I want to personally thank you for giving him a job.
Absolutely. Get him off the payroll.
But more importantly, why do you think Colin's doing so well?
Look, man, this is, Colin grew up doing this. And so he can naturally relate to our customers, a big chunk of our customers, man. They do what all your viewers do every weekend. They spend a lot of time on the water, spend a lot of time in the field, enjoying family, enjoying all that Florida has to offer.
Yeah, and so let's talk a little bit about the different products that we're selling at Florida Coast Equipment. So what do we got?
Yeah, so look, first of all, we got the RTV, which is our side-by-side. We do tractors, we do 18 to 200 horsepower. We do zero-turn mower, stand-ons, diesel, everything in between, kind of homeowner all the way to commercial. Then we do compact construction equipment. So if you need it for road building, home building, paving, we got it. So a little bit of everything in between.
Yeah, it sounds like you're covering the landscape guy, everything, all the nursery guys. So what about how many locations we got and where are they?
So look, we're Ocala to the Keys these days. We have 14 locations. I feel like each year I'm on here, we got one that we're getting ready to add, and we do. So that'll be our 14th. And so at this point, if you're Ocala South, we got you covered. And frankly, anything within about 2 hours of even Ocala, we can take care of you, because we don't want to sell it unless we can service it. So after we sell it, we want to make sure we can get out and take care of you.
Interest rates have made it tough on the boating business. What about with you guys?
Look, we've been lucky. We've had a great partner in Kubota, and we still have 0 down, 0% APR, 48, 60 months. Hell, we even have 0% on our used equipment for 12 months these days. So we've been really lucky and blessed to have a partner that has been there to support our customers.
Yeah. So, one of the things that we love about you as a partner is that you hunt and fish and you do all the cool things. I know that your daughters are into stuff. Tell me about these 2 pictures.
Well, we had a little bit of fun down in the Keys this summer. We had a great day picking some lobsters deep, and that was a lot of fun there. And so that's what we do on the weekends, and that is that's my youngest. That's Harper. We call her Sriracha. She is spicy, and she'd have caught that thing with her teeth if she could had. So we had a lot of fun this summer down in the Keys and enjoyed it.
All right, so more information, where do they go? What website?
FloridaCoastEQ.com. You go there, you'll find out everything you need, and we're looking forward to hearing from you.
Guys, give him a call. You can't do any better than this.
Awesome.
Good job.
Absolutely not. Sriracha, I might use that one for Mia. She's a little spicy too. All right, the Alto Equipment Southwest region has all of the weekend fishing fields going on. So let's find out what we're catching with Captain Ronnie Houston. Go for it, Ronnie.
Well, like always, guys, it's a pleasure being here. You know what? The yellowtail snapper, it can actually be caught throughout the whole region, generally on the offshore side. The best thing about the yellowtails is it can be caught in a variety of areas and a variety of areas of the water column, whether it be on top, mid-range, or even off the bottom. Obviously, chumming is going to be the key to get them grouped up, and depending upon where they end up in the water column, they can be caught by flatlining, or you can just add a little weight, and if they're down on the bottom, simple chicken rigs will catch these fish. Now, wrecks and ledges are probably the most popular, and once grouped up, you can use a variety of cut baits like live pilchards, cut baits, and depending on the water clarity, if the water clarity gets real clear, they can be stingy. Might drop down to 15-pound fluorocarbon. If the water's a little cloudy, probably bump it up to about 30. And prime example of a couple yellowtails caught by Captain Gordy Watson out of Naples. So we got plenty of yellowtails over here. The offshore side still to report is the gag groupers. Now, with the opening of a short window right now all throughout the region for the gag, the fish are being caught right now in a variety of depths in the region. Some guys say some as shallow as 90 feet and beyond. The good reports right now is you want to get them keepers. 150 to 170 seems to be the key along ledges, but also you still can catch them in areas of hard bottom, whether it be small or big pieces. Baits of choice have been live pinfish, grunts, even live cigar minnows. But don't discount that whole squid you can simply buy at the tackle shop. A variety of cut herring, cut mullet. So getting out that far in those 150 to 170 depths, having a variety of baits with you, along with a variety of weights depending upon the wind and the current. That way you make sure you're on the bottom catching these fish. And a prime example is Captain Bo Johnson. Those are the type of fish he's catching in that 150 to 170 range.
Nice gag.
Inshore side, the redfish bite has gotten good all throughout the region, especially on those calmer mornings. Look for the pushes in the north end on shallower flats at low water, especially in those areas in the Pine Island area. To the south, Goodland, all the way down into the park. Mid-tide's been the best before the water floods into the mangroves along your outer Gulf Islands. Now, cut baits on knocker rigs have been really good. Cut mullet, cut ladyfish, or, a lot of guys right now, it's been tough to find them pilchards. They're using shrimp. But the artificial bite can be just as good once you find them schooled up. Bass Assassin shrimp and paddle tails, preferably root beer, gold spoons with the shine, Berkeley jaywalkers and hijackers, 100s and 120s. If they ain't eating the 120, drop down to the 100s. Or your old-fashioned yellow, brown, and chartreuse bucktails, tipwood squid. And I got a picture of a nice oversized red caught down in the Everglades while fishing with Captain Derek Daffin. Last species is going to be the snooks. With all the rain we're getting daily, and we're getting plenty of it. Local spillways and culverts with flow are still producing. As long as you got flow, there'll be fish there. But your nighttime bridge spans in the coastal docks and seawalls with good current movement, that's going to be the most important to catch them fish, along with the Everglades backcountry and outer Gulf. Here we go again. The mid-times seem to be best. Low water in the backcountry, you get those east-northeasterly winds along points and creeks. But the best baits have been really live shrimp and swim baits at night. Live pilchards, pinfish, and cut bait on knocker rigs during the day, along with topwater walk-the-dog lures, artificial shrimp, and 4 to 5 inch swim bait. Prime example, still catching some good oversized snook. I went fishing the other day with a buddy of mine. First cast in the morning, nice oversized snook. And don't let you forget, Naples Take a Soldier fishing's coming up. Saturday, September 14th, out of Hamilton Harbor. Guys, get down there early and watch the takeoff, and get there about 2 or 3 in the afternoon to watch the weigh-in. A couple hundred soldiers and 100 and something captains donating their time. It's a time you're not going to miss.
Ronnie, thank you so much. I got a quick question for you. I know you've been using the Fenwick World Class now for a couple months. How you liking them?
Well, they feel good in my hand, rest along my palm. I like the 8 to 17. It's really light. Catching a lot of these oversized snook on a medium rod with a 3,000 reel really impresses me about that rod. The backbone's been great. I strongly, say that It's working for me. I know it's worked for you. You get a chance, check out the World Class, the Elite, and the HMG.
All right, bud, thank you so much. Great report. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the battery tender hotspots from the Southwest region. Ronnie says inshore, triple tail from Kingston Key to Plover Key along the tide lines, park boundaries, markers, as well as the blowdowns along the shoreline. Then offshore, mangrove and yellowtail snappers, wrecks and ledges 75 to 90 feet. Don't forget, chumming and dropping back small cut baits or live pilchers are going to catch them snaps.
All right, well, now we have Discover Crystal River Northwest Region royalty with us, gracing us with his presence in the studio. Hag, welcome.
Thank you.
Why don't
Good
you
to be
tell
here.
the people what they want to hear? Did Rick promise you a fishing trip?
He did.
I knew it.
On an airplane tomorrow.
It's costing me a 5-day fishing in another country
All right.
to get him to come into the studio.
We'll make it worth it. Give us your report.
Yellowtails, there's not a whole lot better than you can get with a whole fried yellowtail. One of my favorite to eat. We actually have some really good yellowtail fish in my region, the southern part of my region, mostly depths from 80 to 120 feet of water over major structures like the wrecks, pipeline connections, and hard bottom that have good relief. Techniques all work the same as the south, like Randy was talking about earlier on the workbench. Anchoring up tide, the structure, hard bottom, lots of chumming, chum bag, rolled oats. You can even cut some sardines up and send them back too, along with one hook in it to bring them back up. Get them up higher in the water column. We got a lot of barracudas, sharks, and Goliath groupers that'll eat your bait. So you want to get them as high as you can up in the water column to get those fish to the boat as quick as possible. And most of our fish in our region are a little bit bigger. That 1.5 pound to 3 pound is our average size, and we get them quite bigger than that. 10-pound mono, the smallest size hook you can get away with, and tip with a little bit of shrimp or a cut sardine works good. Moving offshore, Captain Rob Davenport of Big Nasty Charters out of St. Pete reports on gag grouper right now. The gag grouper fishing just opened up on the 1st and it's been really good. Catching them in anywhere from 170 to 250 feet of water, 80 pound to 100 pound fluorocarbon leader, 8 to 10 ounces of lead depending on the current, and a 6/0 to 8/0 circle hook. Finding them on ledges and hard bottom. Big pinfish has been his key bait. Moving a little closer to the shoreline, Captain Mike Manning out of Bayport reports a shallow water grouper bite has been on fire right now. With a long closure season we had with gags, that those fish really moved up in that really shallow water around Crystal River, Homosassa, and Bayport. Fishing anywhere from 9 to 11 feet of water. They've been eating anything from pinfish, whitebait, and some of the big fish have been coming on cast and diving plugs over the rock piles. And I got a photo here from Captain Rob of a beautiful gag grouper. Nice. And another one from Captain Mike Anderson from a shallow water grouper.
Nice. All right.
Moving on inshore, Captain Jim Poller of Big Daddy Sport Fishing reporting a great redfish bite right now in Tampa Bay. Captain Jim's kind of moving along the edges of the mangroves with his trolling motor real slow and looking for head pushes ahead of him. With the darker water we've had from that last storm that last tropical storm we had, spotting him has been a little bit tricky, so he's looking for head pushes and pushes in the water to find his fish. He's been targeting his redfish with a variety of baits from live pilchers to cut baits like ladyfish and mullet. 25 pound fluorocarbon leader and a 3/0 circle hook has been his go-to setup. And I've got a photo here of a great Tampa Bay redfish from Captain Jim.
Nice. All right, one to go. Tell me about
Moving around
Jimmy.
the corner, out on the outside over to Ozella, Captain Jimmy Huddleston reports good beach snook bite right now with that post spawn. A lot of feeding on the beaches right now on that fry bait that's roaming the swash channels. So a nose hook greenie on the top has been his top bait of choice. And most of the fish right now are making their transition back to the Spoil Islands and along the causeway, so look for them on the deeper edges there. And I got a nice photo here from Captain Jim Huddleston of a beautiful
Nice.
snook.
What some beautiful, beautiful water. Hag, this is the first time you've been into this studio.
Yeah, this is the first time in this studio.
Yeah, man. How you like it?
I love it here.
Isn't it cool?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Good seeing
Thank
you
you
guys.
so much. I know how hard it is for you to
It's a
come
long way down
here.
here.
I know. I know.
Me too.
Sorry, thumb.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about my thumb. My thumb's okay, if anyone was wondering. But let's
All
take a
right.
look at the Ozello Keys Marina hotspot.
Let's do that. Jeff says that inshore, guys, redfish on the top of the tide in the beginning of the outgoing. Look for the mullet schools. Use some cut bait and some live sardines. And then offshore, the scamp grouper bite has been consistent in 180 to 250 feet of water over the rock piles and ledges. pinfish on a standard bottom rig, or a butterfly jig have been the go-to baits.
Good job, Rick.
Yeah, good job,
Good job,
everybody.
everybody. All right, well, calling all anglers who want to hang out with us.
Yes, please.
Not you. Next week for our live studio audience show, which is Bass. All you have to do is scan that QR code and sign up. We're going to have a lot of fun, as we always do. We have goodies and snacks and all sorts of things, and it's a fun time.
Yes.
So we hope to see you there. But now it's time to get ready for Taco Marine new products at the CCA Workbench, where Dave Ferrell has the latest and greatest on display.
Shaw Grigsby coming for the Bass Show.
Don't tell anyone. Tell everyone. Right, Dave?
Yeah,
Taco Marine new products.
I'm pretty
No.
excited to see Shaw Grisby. He's the happiest man on the planet.
I think a lot of people are going to be happy.
Hey, Randy better move his ass out of there. I'm coming over back to
We
the
love all the
workbench. Get
captains
this
having
straight.
little cameos. And then we're switching gears and running into the Sea Sucker Panhandle region to head offshore with Captain Ian. We will be right back.
The Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Alta Equipment Company, where uptime matters. Ameritrail, load, launch, relax. Abyss Battery, power your pursuit. Rodan, set it, forget it, catch more fish. Discover Crystal River, Florida. Bass Assassin and Saltwater Assassin, best lures, period. Black Oak LED, never be left in the dark. And Maverick Boat Group, makers of premium boat brands Maverick, Hughes, Pathfinder, and Cobia.
Well, we're here at the CCA Workbench. Time for the Taco Marine new products. Dave, you see, that's how you introduce
Glad
the
I
segment.
didn't have to say it.
Let's talk a little bit about the TH Marine Power Lock.
Yep, that's the Banshee alarm padlock, actually. The Banshee provides ultimate protection against theft for your boat or your trailer, or pretty much anything. You could put that on any, a gear box, a lock box, a dock box, and what that does, it'll set off a 110 decibel alarm if you vibrate it or shake it. You mess with that lock, it's going to go, wah, 110 decibels. Screams like a Banshee. That's why it's called a Banshee. And you can deactivate it, actually, if you want to, once you're trailering, you don't want that thing going off as you're going over bumps down the road.
Imagine?
Obviously.
Sound like somebody, dragging somebody behind the truck.
Exactly. But it fits most trailer couplers, and it's weatherproof, so you don't have to worry about it going bad sitting out in the rain and whatnot. But it's a really cool thing. I don't know why they haven't thought of that a long time ago. thmarinesupplies.com.
I'm going to put this on Ridge's boat, and he doesn't know he's going to be going down the road, think he's running people over.
There you go. You put
It's
it
going to
on.
be the best.
You can put it on
You know, when you
anything.
get to be an adult, you get to aggravate your kids, it's the best.
I got you.
Yeah.
Right here we have the Black Oak Low Pro Marine LED light bar. This is the lowest profile light bar on the market. Very, very slim profile there. Streamlined, and it looks like it mounts flush to the top of your boat. It's got built-in dimming, so you can dim it.
You can go from full bright to nothing in 4 seconds.
That's right. And it really has, it's really cool. It has these adjustable feet. You get these little feet and everything, all the hardware with it, that you can adjust it to your T-top so that it
The
fits
angle.
angled exactly where you want it. That's no two T-tops are the same, and they don't ride the same, So once you get up there on the top, you can get that thing and get it aimed exactly where you want it before you lock
So
it up.
we have the Black Oak LED camera, the
Right.
night vision camera on the front runner.
Right.
What I love about this is so many times when you put a light bar on, your light bar is either in the way of the camera or the camera's in the way of the light bar.
Or the radar or
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
This is going to be low enough that I don't have to adjust the camera at all.
Right.
And I'm really excited about that. Pretty work. Good job,
They have
guys.
18 ultra bright LEDs in there, 12,000 lumens. It's got just a massive light output. IP69 water resistance, so it's not gonna. You can flood it, and it's gonna be fine. A DuPont powder coating on there, and
Lifetime warranty.
exactly. And for the next 30 days,
Yes.
if you go to blackoakled.com and you type in LowPro 35 in the coupon area, you'll get 35% off, which is
Right.
amazing. That's
That is
That's a
amazing.
big chunk of change.
Yeah, 35% off.
Right.
What is that again?
Black Oak LED.
Low Pro 35.
Low Pro 35 for your coupon.
Tell me about the battery tender, Dave.
Next, we've got the battery tender Wave Charge Pro 4 Bank, 12-volt, 40-amp battery charger. It's a lot.
Whoa.
It charges and maintains 4 12-volt batteries at 10 amps simultaneously using independent charging modules in there, so you don't have to worry about one frying and all your batteries going bad. Safe for long-term storage, automatically switches to float mode to prevent overcharging. It maintains an optimal battery level to make your batteries last longer. All these little LED lights you can just take at a glance. You can see how every one of your 4 batteries is going. Includes all the cables with a 10-amp fuse, a 15-amp inline fuse as well. Comes with a 2-year warranty.
Right.
So, it's got shock resistance, water resistance, again, IP67, weighs 8.2 pounds.
Right.
So, it's not a big weight in there. So, if you have batteries on your boat and it'll work for LED batteries, lead acid batteries, lithium batteries, all the kinds.
So guys, if you're not familiar with
All the
battery
kinds.
tender, you got to go online and check out all the different types of batteries they make. They make a battery charger for all your needs, and just to figure out what your needs is. And don't forget to tell them that Dave and I sent you, right, Dave?
Batterytender.com.
That's where they're gonna go.
Yep.
Hey, good job over here.
Wow.
He got a little security blanket.
You got it back.
That's right.
You'll find all the things. All right.
All the
well,
things.
Speaking of not all the things, if you want it, the Seasucker Panhandle region has got it. Just not so much Yellowtail, but that's okay because Captain Pat Deneen has many other options to reel in this weekend. Talk to us, Pat. What's going on up there?
I tell you what, Brie, there are some yellowtails being caught up here. They're fewer and far between, but I have seen more and more lately the last couple of years. But not enough to really talk about. But bill fishing continues to produce them on the 100-fathom curve. Skin Deep, a sport fisher boat out of Orange Beach, they caught 5 2 whites Thursday at the knuckle. We fished the nipple on Friday, catching a sail and several miles. Clean blue water has pushed up into that area, and there are plenty of flyers, and we were marking pretty good bait, but not crazy amounts of bait. The squiggles has also been pretty fishy. We were fishing 4 naked ballyhoo chin-weighted, rigged on 50-pound leaders, 8/0 circle hooks. We also pulled 2 teasers and 2 dredges. Pretty typical, just fishing, offshore fishing. So we had a Spanish mackerel rigged on 50-wide pitch rod in case a blue crashed the party. But the fish has been really good and consistent, well worth the trip out to the nipple, to that 100-fathom curve. There's a photo there of Johnny Wolf. I think he's 8. He released a sail he caught on Friday at the nipple aboard his family's boat, the Sea Wolf. There's another photo there of a white marlin caught aboard the Lucky Dog out of Destin, and they're near the nipple. So right now you don't have to go crazy distances to catch blue water fish. But staying offshore, amberjacks are now open for harvest and are being caught on the big metal wrecks and high relief bottoms. The best fish are being caught on live baits rigged on long 60 to 100-pound leaders. With amberjacks, the livelier bait, the better. The most active baits are produce the best bites. Blue runners, mullets, thread fins all make excellent amberjack baits. But if you can keep a small to medium-sized bonita alive, you're going to have the bait for a really big reef donkey. When you pull up and hook up on a wreck, break off the wreck. You're going to minimize a break off on the wreck, but you're also going to minimize, getting sharp. But keep a couple of rods fishing because that one hooked fish is going to fire the other fish as well. You're going to get multiple bites. Butterfly jigs can also be very productive, but the biggest AJs are typically going to come from them live baits. AJs are running up to and well over 50 pounds right now. Moving inshore, a lot of folks are spending time in Port St. Joe, scalloping. The scallops are good this year, but they're also taking advantage of some pretty good trout fishing as well. Best fishing is going to be early in the morning, late in the afternoon on spotty grass flats. Cast top walker baits like the Jaywalker, or a midwater bait like a Bass Assassin paddle tail, an electric chicken, and a 1/4 ounce dig head, or a twitch bait rigged on a weedless hook. Late in the morning or midday, focus on the flats edges where it rolls down in the waters. You want a free line croaker, spot minnows, a small pinfish, 15 to 20-pound leaders. And there's a Scott Ferrell out of Baker, and that's exactly what he was done. He waded out and soaked a spot minnow on a free line bait and caught that really nice trout.
Tell me about the Spanish mackerel.
Yeah, Rick, finally offshore or inshore, there's a bunch of Spanish mackerel that are being caught right now, particularly in the western part of our sea sucker region. They're fishing the deeper roll downs at channel edges near the inlet. You want to look for terns dipping to the surface or Spanish flipping on the top. Or cast spoons, bulba rigs, or diamond jigs are doing really well. Or cast, if you want to look for those bigger fish, cast a topwater chug bug. That's going to definitely, bring out those bigger Spanish mackerel.
All right, thank you so much, Pat. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the Sea Sucker Panhandle region. Pat says the Mid-Bay Bridge on the Chakawaki Bay is holding redfish, jack crevalles, and a good number of tarpon, slow troll croakers along the pylons and the shadow lines. And then offshore, gag groupers and amberjacks, triggerfish all open for harvest. Head to the bottom structures and 100+ feet off the water with some good baits.
The Choctaw. I just love that word.
Yeah.
It's a fun one to say.
Go ahead.
All right, the CCA Florida Star presented by Yamaha will be celebrating and awarding 100 winners, boats, motors, prizes, and scholarships at the 10th Annual Star Awards Banquet and Ceremony presented by Discover Crystal River on October 12th at the Grove of Sweet Citrus Acres. Attendees can meet Florida's favorite fishing celebrities, enjoy a great barbecue meal, live entertainment, complimentary drinks, plus silent and live auction in the company of like-minded fishing friends. There's nothing to lose, really.
Nope.
To purchase tickets, visit ccaflstar.com. It's always a fun time. All right, we're drifting into the front runner boats Northeast and Real Legends Central East region when we come back. And remember to keep up with everything fishing in Florida. Make sure you scan that QR code on your screen to check out all of our social media pages, our YouTube channel, Captain Rick Murphy, and on our website, you can easily purchase products you see right here on the show, plus get some show swag. So get to shopping, and we'll be right back.
The Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Tron. Start, run, and store with Tron. Berkeley, your fish, our science. CCA Florida, the voice of recreational anglers for over 35 years. Front Runner Boats, performance-built offshore fishing boats made in the USA. Takeuchi, from world first to world leader. The Florida Keys and Key West. Come as you are. Murphy's Law Sport Fishing. Book your trip today at murphyslawsportfishing.com. And Strike Zone Fishing.
Welcome back. When it comes to yellowtail loot in the Front Runner Boats Northeast region, it's all about quality, not quantity, if you're lucky.
That's right.
Tommy?
That's right, Brie. Definitely about the quality up here. Up here in the Front Runner Boats Northeast region, we really don't see a whole lot of those yellowtail snappers, at least compared to some of the southern regions. But the ones we do catch, they're usually really, really big ones. And in fact, most of those yellowtails we catch up here, they're in that 7 to even 8 pound range, some big fish. Now, most of those big yellowtails are caught during the cooler months, but they can be caught year-round, usually while fishing for other snapper species like the ever-popular mangrove snapper. Now, right now, even though we're towards the very end of the mangrove spawning season, we do have a mangrove and especially a great mutton snapper bite happening in the region. And there has been a few big yellowtails in that mix of snappers. Now, I spoke to a couple of our snapper experts. They've been chumming up those mangoes, as usual, in the 120 to 140-foot depths. But they've also really been going after those mutton snappers more than anything. The muttons are more on the bottom. They tend to stay a little bit more off the structure. So if you find some good bottom, don't be afraid to look around away from it a little bit. Those guys tell me that you have a good chance of marking some muttons that way. Coming off the new moon, the snapper, they may be grouped up a little bit, but like I said, the mangoes overall are slowing down from earlier in the summer. But that being said, there's still some big ones hanging out. And I do get reports that there's an occasional big yellowtail mixed in. So if you give it a shot, you might just get lucky and hook into one of those big ones. Now, staying offshore, the kingfish bite is pretty good offshore right now throughout the region. I spoke to Captain Gibby. He tells me that they caught some big fish, both to the north and to the south of St. Augustine, both during pre-fishing and then during the Old City Elite Kingfish Tournament. Big live baits like blue runners, or if you can find some big turbo pogies, that's the way to go. And finding those areas offshore that are holding bait is also going to be a big part in finding those bigger kingfish. If you find an area that's holding some blue runners, that's probably a good spot to start trolling around. And again, congrats to Frank Vining, Gibb, and the boys for winning that event. They walked away with a really big paycheck. And I've got a photo here this is one of the 4 fish that they weighed in to win that event aboard the walkthrough. And congratulations again to those guys. And hey, before I move inshore, real quick, CCA Star event is over for the year. It was a great event this year. Looking forward to again next year. But hey, we have a local CCA event coming up October 3rd. Our regional big dinner in Jacksonville at the Glass House. I did it last year. Super fun, great food, great prizes, all kinds of cool raffles and stuff. So be sure to check that out. Now, moving inshore, guys, the redfish bite continues to be good this week. It's really been a great summer for redfish, and I'm thinking it's going to carry over into the fall. We're back to the low tide being first thing in the morning this weekend. So, you know what? Set your alarm early and get out there at first light. The redfish have been crawling along the banks of the ICW and on the edges of the flats and in the backs of the creeks on that early morning incoming tide. It's a small window, but as soon as that tide starts coming in, you're going to see fish busting all kinds of stuff. If you have a skinny water boat, now is the time to bust it out because they're chasing those small mullet up in the super shallow stuff. Now, my clients, we've been doing well tossing the Saltwater Assassin Elite Shiner in the Mama's 14K color. It's one of my favorite colors to those skinny water fish. Rig that on a Saltwater Assassin weedless hook, and that's going to be a deadly combo. You can make a very soft presentation with that and then slide it right up to the fish, and they're going to eat it right up. If the skinny water redfish isn't your thing, it's not a problem. The redfish have also started to stack up at the inlets with all those mullets showing up. Get out late, early or late for that low tide. Use a cut mullet or a cut crab on the bottom. And you can also pitch the jetty rocks with a jig and a shrimp or a finger mullet. And I've got another photo here. Captain Buzz Brandon from Northeast Florida Angling sent me this picture of Nate Black with a really pretty redfish they caught near Chickaput in Jacksonville. Buzz has been slaying those redfish up there, so it's probably a good time to give him a call and get on one if you're looking to. Now, last species, tarpon. Tarpon have been pretty good this week, and we have a perfect tide to target them this weekend. You know, those tarpon seem to love that early morning incoming tide, just like the redfish. They're going to be at the inlets with all those mullet getting washed in from the beach on that first incoming. It's easy to find those tarpon. Just look for busting fish in the pods of bait. And with tarpon, it's easy to find them, not so easy to catch all the time. Now, we've been doing well tossing the white fish bites jerkbait, rigging that either on a stout jig head or a big swim bait hook. Now, you can wait for busting or rolling fish. Get that rig right out in front of them. The faster you get it there, the better usually. And you can also rig a mullet on a circle hook and either free line or float them if that's your thing, right around the bait pods. And I've got one last picture here. This is our good buddy from Fish Bites, Scott Jones, with a nice tarpon that he caught on that white Fish Bites jerkbait. And we've seen him do that before, haven't we, Rick?
Yeah, man, there's nobody better with the white jerkbait than old Scotty, man.
Golden hour, too.
All right. Thank you so much, Tommy. We're going to go ahead and take a look at those strike zone hotspots from the Northeast region. He says inshore, tarpon and the redfish at the inlets on the first of the incoming tide. Look for the pods of mullet and fish around them. And then offshore, kingfish offshore around the structure holding numbers of blue runners, which that's what those kings are there to eat.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, now let's head into the Rio Legends Central East region where we're looking at some other snapper options for the weekend. So, Jim, why don't you give us some more details on that?
Well, we do get a couple of yellowtails, and when we get them, they're big. But I wanted to talk about some other species that we have a whole lot more of, and they're a whole lot more prevalent this time of year, and that is the vermilion snapper and the lane snapper. Now, some guys call them red eyes, some guys call them, beeliners. But, if you're fishing anywhere in the Central East region from about 90 foot out to about 200 foot of water, you can have a shot at catching these fish. So Captain Mike Kipp of FirelineFishingCharters.com likes to use small pieces of squid or sardine rigged on a 2-drop chicken rig with 2/0-size circle hooks to target these fish out of Ponce Inlet. And Captain Mike was telling me that these snapper will hold just off the main piece of structure. So he suggests moving around the structure until you find them, because the marks that you typically see right on top of the main structure are usually red snapper, and obviously you can't keep those. The lanes and vermilions are normally about 1 to 3 pounds, but occasionally you'll find a few that are slightly larger, and he's been getting some lately. So give him a shout at FirelineFishingCharters.com, and here's a picture of one of the fish that they recently caught here. Nice little lane snapper, nice little pretty fish.
Sure is.
Pretty good sized ones. So our other species offshore this week is flounder. And I started going out and doing some flounder fishing in those 50 to 90 foot structures throughout the region. Right now, the wrecks, ledges, and rock piles are all really good places to find these really tasty fish. And I like to target them using finger mullet, mud minnows, or large shrimp on a 3/4 ounce to 1.5 ounce bucktail jig, or you can use a knocker rig as well. The other thing that I really started getting into is these vertical slow pitch jigs. These things are super effective on the flounder. I use the little micro ones. They call them micro jigging with assist hooks on them. There's a little flutter to them. You know, I like to use a Pin Slammer 5500 size reel. I use some 30-pound test braided line and about a 40-pound test fluorocarbon leader. And, you know, on about maybe a 15 to 30-pound class pin rod. And that's my whole flounder package. It's basically the same thing that you would kind of use to throw at snook or cobia or some of the other fish. But with that light tip and those little micro jigs, you can catch some flounder up to 25 and 26 inches. And I've got a picture here of one of those little micro jigs, and you can see the size of it compared to a quarter. And I add that little assist hook on the front of that particular jig to give it some added hooking capabilities. And then here's one of the fish that we've recently caught, actually just this past week on those little micro jigs. So there's some nice ones out there right now.
Cool.
Swinging inshore, Rick, we got speckled trout, and the Captain Mike Mann of FatFishGuideService.com has been on a great speckled trout bite this week in the Mosquito Lagoon. Mike's got his customers using Assassin salty snacks rigged on a large offset weedless hook, and he's working that over the deeper grass beds around Tiger Shoal and the east-west bar. Now, later in the morning, he's switching them over to live pigfish under a cork. Says that seems to be working really well, especially if you're fishing in them around the mullet schools, because the trout are hanging around the mullet as well. Most of our trout this week are running about 16 to 22 inches. So there's some nice ones out there for a late summer bite. And then the snook fishing continues to be on fire this week. The season opened up on the 1st, and the fall mullet run is going super strong along the Space Coast right now. And so if you're in the Real Legends region, you need to get out there, because the live fingerling mullet on a knocker rig or a lure like a Saltwater Assassin 5-inch Artemis shad that imitates those fingerling mullet is absolutely going to get blown up. Outgoing tides have been better than the incoming on most days, so get down to the beach or the inlet and catch yourself a few. And I've got a nice pick here of one of 7 that we landed the other day.
Nice.
All right, Jimmy. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate everything, and we'll be talking to you again pretty soon. All right, bud. Thank you so much for filling in for me last week or so. All right, bud. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at his Rodan Marine System hotspots inshore mullet run mixture of snook and reds, jacks, tarpons, and more. Use live mullet around the mullet pods, running the surf line and in the inlets. Lip diving plugs are a great choice in the areas of heavy feeding activity and in offshore. The bottom fishing for cobias on the reef and wreck structure in 90 to 180 foot depth. Keep a pitch bait or a cobia style jig ready to fish that may pop up next to your boat.
Hey, our chapstick made it into the report. Did you see that?
I saw that.
Nice, Jim. Nice product placement. All right, when you're on the road, make sure you show your support for Florida's fisheries with a Conserve Florida's Fisheries license plate. Funds from the sale of the redfish tag directly support protecting and enhancing marine resources, habitat restoration, water quality, and coastal environmental education, which are all very important. So make sure you get yours now at your local DMV or redfishtag.com. Okay.
We should see how many people, when we go to the Star Banquet on October 12th, have a CCA tag.
Have a CCA tag.
That'd be kind of cool.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, man.
It's the prettiest one on the market.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. All right, get ready, anglers. Chumming right up on the Florida Insider Fishing Report is the Star Tron Central West region, where we're just catching them up with Captain Jeff Page. We'll be right back.
The Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Fenwick. Feel everything. Island Lures. Tournament Tackle. The IGFA. Every fish, every water, every angler since 1939. Sportsman's Adventures with Captain Rick Murphy. 30 years of fishing for adventure. Berkeley Pro Spec Chrome. Real Legends. Available at bellsflorida.com. And Taco Marine. Master the catch.
Today's Powerful tip is all about the new Powerful One pump. Several years ago, we had a goal to operate 2 Powerful anchors off of 1 single pump. We looked at every pump manufacturer here in the United States and overseas, and we got the same answer from all of them. It's impossible to run 2 poles off of 1 pump in the same space. But you know Powerful specializes in making the impossible possible. So today, I'd like to show off our new Powerful One pump, machined out of billet aluminum right here in Tampa Bay. All of the valves and engineering from 2 pumps is built into this 1 single footprint. It has a new quick release valve with a spring-loaded pin that's easy to get in and out of the boat. It's so good, it saves half of the space in your boat. It cuts down on your install time, and it uses 41% less amp draw. The Powerful One pump is precise, it's smooth, and it's quieter than ever before. To learn more about the One pump, go to powerpole.com, and that's your Powerful tip.
Takes up less space, half the amperage.
Right?
That's right. And operates both at one time.
That's great. That means everything
Exactly.
on a small boat, especially. All right. Well,
got it,
summer
Mama.
is coming to a close. I'm hearing about pumpkin spice lattes and fall and football season. So we better get to Yellowtail in the Tron Central West region with Captain Jeff Page. Let's go, Page.
All right, you know what, that Dan Benson, he's smooth as butter on those Powerful tips, ain't he, Rick?
Yes,
Good as you, Page.
Yeah, he ain't as good as you, Paige, but he's second, that's for sure.
Oh, thank you, thank you. You know, we may not have the Yellowtail bite that you guys got down in the Keys, but in the Tron Central West region, we have a pretty good Yellowtail bite, and the best time of year is right now into early fall, and those fish can get in that 90 to 120 feet of water. And the cool thing about them is they're going to be on the same ledges, the same springs, the same hard bottom areas as your mangrove snapper and your grouper are going to be. So it's not uncommon. The thing about the Yellowtail is if you bring the chum bags, you'll get those fish up to the surface. And something Randy Tao taught me when he came over and fished with me once was, you know, you don't want to over chum them, but at the same time, you do want to get them up off that bottom. Now, once you do, light leader, as light as 15-pound fluorocarbon when that water's clean, up to, you can go to 30 if the water's a little off, and then a 1-0 or a 2-0 light wire trocar circle hook will get the job done. And with a piece of a shrimp, a piece of a pilchard, no need to use a whole bait. Once they're fired up, they're going to eat. My photo tonight is of the flying Hawaiian himself. That's Kalen Olayer, and he's out of Stump Pass Marina with some really nice snappers there. And staying offshore, we've got gag grouper. You know, everybody's been talking about it for the last few weeks. Well, the season opened on Sunday last week on the 1st, and good weather. The guys were able to get out to their favorite ledges and marks in that 150 feet range for the bigger fish. And I know, Rick, you were over filming Sportsman Adventures with Captain Eric White, and you guys caught some really quality fish, I heard.
Yes, sir.
And it's been good, even in as close as 70 feet of water, and then even up in the bay around the Skyway rubble's been really good. Live pinfish, grunts if you can get them, but always have a couple boxes of frozen sardines because you know what? Once you get those gags located, they're pretty much going to eat. Standard bottom rig or a knocker rig will work, and I've got a really nice gag photo tonight of our good friend Captain Jason Stock with some folks with a big gag they got on the full send.
Nice.
Switching inshore, well, September has arrived. Brie, you just talked about it with the lattes and the college football. And the redfish came in on that new moon from down south. I heard of schools down around Turtle Bay Bar, over on the east side by Burnt Store. And then as you get up into Sarasota Bay, there's been some fish, but more fish around the mouth of that Manatee River and Rattlesnake Key, and then over on the Fort DeSoto side. Now, a good way to find them early is, if it's not blowing too hard, is you'll see those fish raised up on the surface. Don't get me wrong, there can be jacks mixed in with them, but if you have a topwater plug or a half-ounce gold spoon, you're going to be able to throw long and get ahead of those fish. You don't want to hit them in the back, or you don't want to hit them in the middle. You want to be out in front of them. And something you taught me a long time ago, Rick, is with that gold spoon, it's just a steady retrieve, but yet crank it as fast as you can to where it's not breaking the surface of the water. And that's a good rule of thumb with those weedless gold spoons. Now, as the day goes on, live pinfish or a big pilchard, corked or free line will work. And if it gets high and those fish get up under the bushes, a chunk of a ladyfish, a chunk of a pinfish, or even a gulp shrimp or a fish bite on a jig head will get the job done. Now, my redfish picture is really special. I had a brother of mine, Brother Parrish Javier. He's a pastor from the Philippines, and that's his first redfish he's ever caught.
Man, that's a cool picture. Congratulations to that young man, Mr. Page. Good job.
All right, and my last species, you know I'm just a trout fisherman, so we've got a lot of small hatch bait, and it's growing. Scotty Moore taught me something, that small hatch bait grows 1 inch a month. So come September, October, that fish is going to be cast net size. That bait's going to be cast net size. But that hatch bait's all in the bay. You find the birds diving on that bait, and that bait all sizzled up on the flats, you're going to catch speckled trout. Normally, there's bluefish and mackerel mixed in with them. This year, I've seen more jacks and ladyfish. Some of the grass flats, Long Bar area, and then up off the mouth of the Manatee River off Emerson Point, and then down south off Kayapalua and the outer bars of Bull and Turtle Bay. Favorite way I like to catch them, topwater plugs work real well like the Jaywalker 110 in the chrome or bone pattern. And then the way I really like catching them is with that 4 Horsemen popping cork in that 4 or 5 inch one, and it shows up better on the windy days. You're able to keep your eye on that cork, and underneath it, 3 to 4 foot a leader with a fish bite or a gulp shrimp on a light 16th ounce jig head, and that allows for a slow sink. And my last photo tonight is of a happy crew with a nice little mess of speckled trout with Captain Gary Huffman of Tuna Breath Charters.
All right, Paige, good job, man. You did good. I appreciate all your hard work. I know it's late for you because you're batting cleanup for us, but you did a great job. Thanks for all the energy, bub. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the daiquiri deck hotspots from the Central West region.
Let's do
Captain
it.
Page, you know what he says, Brie?
What
He
does
says
he say?
good schools of redfish starting to show up in Turtle Bay. Also Long Bar, Rattlesnake Key, to name a few places, and look for the fish to raise up and pushing water, throw topwater plugs, half-ounce gold spoon or free line, a live pinfish to them. And then offshore, look for quality gags holding on the ledges and hard bottom areas in 90 to 120 feet of water throughout the entire region. Live pinfish and grunts are your best bait. You know, one of the things that always intrigues me is that people, they won't go fishing for groupers when the season's closed. You can still catch and release. We catch and release snook 365 around here.
That's true.
And I don't understand why people don't want to go catch a fish of a lifetime just because they can't take it home and eat it.
That's true. It's still a good fight.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Bycatch around those places, pretty cool.
Pretty cool. All right, well, we are at the end of the Yellow Brick Road, folks, but that only means it's your turn to get out there this weekend for some good old grocery shopping. Stay with us, though, because we're talking about our species lineup for next week.
Come on.
Look at those gentlemen right there.
That's
Hi,
a
fellas.
Speaking of lineup,
We'll
look at
be
those
right
two.
back.
That's a lineup.
All right, next week we are talking about bass. We have such a fun show lined up for everybody. Live studio audience, it's our last one. But look at this lineup here of all the gentlemen. And you know what? You two are going to be somewhere this weekend.
We're
Fun.
going to Trinidad to film a Sportsman's Adventure episode. I talked to our guide before we went on the air. He had a little 8-hour trip today. They released 60.
That's a lot of tarpon. That's a lot of tarpon. We're going to be in pain.
I'm glad we got Ridge going. Was maybe we can pull on Ridge so much that he can grow a little bit.
Oh.
You know, get an inch or two more.
Oh, poor guy.
We'll have
Dave
to
and I will
measure him
be
before
right
we
here,
go.
Stretch him
ready. We'll see y'all next week. Get out.
Uncle Jeff coming in hot.
We'll catch you back.